From the nation's capital, Eye on Washington with Marilee Joyce. A weekly discussion about the federal issues most important to Nevada. And now, from Washington, D.C., here's Marilee Joyce.
And good day to you. I'm Marilee Joyce, and this is Eye on Washington, the only statewide Nevada news program produced in Washington, D.C. Every week, Eye on Washington takes you straight to Capitol Hill for a discussion with Nevada's delegation and other leaders about the federal matters that matter to you. Today's topic, transit and Nevada's senior population. We're going to tell you about transportation challenges that face people as they age and what's being done on the Hill and in the state to meet them. My very special guest today, again, is Mr. Lee Gibson, the Executive Director of the Regional Transportation Commission of Washoe County. Thanks for being here again.
It's great to be back.
Thank you. Well, according to the latest census count, 12% of Nevada's population is age 65 or older. And today on Eye on Washington, we're going to tell you about the transportation needs of this segment of our society. We'll learn why transportation is a key determinant of an individual's ability to live independently in a community. And we'll learn what my guest says must be done on the Hill to maintain and increase senior transit options. According to the Washington, D.C.-based National Center on Senior Transportation, transportation is key to enabling older persons to access essential services and engage in life-enhancing activities. Let's stress those two things again. Essential services, that's shopping, that's healthcare, that's other essential parts of our lives. Life-enhancing activities, that's visiting the grandchildren, that's going to the park, the mall, the movies, and other enhancing, aka fun, parts of our lives. So as people age, their ability to, live healthy and fulfilled lives is largely hugely connected with being mobile. And that means that transportation officials have their hands full maintaining, increasing, and providing awareness about transportation options for older individuals. And Mr. Gibson, first of all, welcome back to Eye on Washington. You know, when individuals get older, many do decide to stop operating a car, operating a vehicle. Some, of course, do decide to stay with their cars. So you've got a lot cut out for you on both public transit and making sure the roads are safe for those who are driving. But, the Caregivers Library says there are 8.4 million U.S. seniors who depend on others or on transit for transportation. So for you, an aging population does play a huge role in your planning processes every year, doesn't it?
Absolutely. In fact, we are required by federal law to have a human services transportation plan. This is a plan that spells out what we will do in terms of investing in services and facilities that will support mobility options for seniors in the disabled community. This is, as you quoted great stats there, these are the most rapidly growing sectors of our population, and over time throughout the state of Nevada, we're going to have to look at ways to provide folks those essential services that will get them to health care. We in the Reno-Sparks area now are working on a coalition to bring everyone together to look at different ways and more efficient ways of bringing seniors to their essential services. And we want to especially reach out to social service organizations, volunteer groups, and help them learn more about what they can do for our community and help us do our job more efficiently.
I mentioned that the census count says that right now 12% of Nevadans are age 65 or older, but my whole senior audience is likely lines up with the national polls that's saying wherever you are, aging in place is the top priority. And how does transportation affect one's ability to age in place?
The way transportation affects the age in place idea, and I'm a big supporter of the age in place concept. In fact, my own mother is aging in place in her home. The key thing for us to do is to have a coordinated effort where we provide public transportation services, but I think it's important to recognize we also want to provide, through our Complete Street program, options to enhance the safety of the road system. Many seniors walk, many seniors drive slowly, more slow. Getting traffic to be calm, getting traffic flows under control really helps the senior who still drives or the senior who may decide to walk. The public transportation side, we really want to make sure we have excellent transit services to to areas of the community where seniors live. We also want to make sure we have bus stops that are accessible to them so they can use those public transportation services. Finally, many seniors will get to a point where their infirmities catch up to them and they become disabled but become eligible under the Americans with Disabilities Act for transportation services. So we want to encourage, and we work very closely with our local governments to make sure that housing and retail and medical opportunities can be planned and developed close together in close proximity of each other so that those trips aren't as long as they used to be. And I think that's a key initiative we have going on at the local level.
You know, I want to point out that, Mr. Gibson, not only are you concerned with these physical challenges, the roads, the buses, the bus stops, I think a lot of our viewers and listeners might not understand that you also, in a way, are dealing with some psychological and mental challenges as well. And I'm going to explain what I mean. The National Center on Senior Transportation says that older drivers are more than 3 times more likely to stay home, which can lead to isolation. Now, from their white paper, it says isolation, and this is from not traveling, can lead to depression, and combined with reduced access to medical care, these factors can increase the likelihood an older person will not be able to live independently and need placement in a long-term care facility. So proper transportation planning can actually prevent this sort of isolation as well, can't it?
That's absolutely correct, and that is a very, very important theme you'll hear me champion throughout my work efforts. We've really got to bring the social, we in Washoe County are bringing the social service agencies together along with the healthcare providers, RTC. We're working in concert right now with the county to leverage federal funds, to bring those federal funds to bear on new and innovative methods to help those seniors get out of their homes and get to that critical medical care or get to a critical shopping trip so they can have food in their home.
Thank you. And when we return, does Nevada meet what one national group says are the 5 indicators of senior-friendly transportation? Let's ask my guest right after this.
You're watching Eye on Washington with Marilee Joyce, brought to you by the National Mining Association, Caesars Entertainment, the Regional Transportation Commission of Washoe County, Las Vegas Sands Corporation, the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, Station Casinos, Boyd Gaming Corporation, the Rogich Communications Group, and Jim Marsh Automotive.
America's minerals have made us a nation of self-reliant dreamers, shaping our world and the endless ways we enjoy it. But red tape often forces us to import more than half the minerals we depend on. Minerals we already have. We don't import our dreams. Shouldn't that go for our minerals too? The National Mining Association. Learn more at nma.org.
You already watch Eye on Washington with Marilee Joyce, Nevada's only Washington, D.C. based statewide show. But for more federal news that matters to Nevada, you need to read our Nevada's Washington Watch newsletter. Visit joycecommunications.com and subscribe today. Eye on Washington with Marilee Joyce is able to link Nevadans to Capitol Hill thanks to the fine companies and organizations that support us. For sponsorship information, please visit joycecommunications.com. Thanks for watching and supporting Eye on Washington with Marilee Joyce.
All of us at Caesars Entertainment have something we want to say.
Play responsibly.
Play responsibly. We don't want you to gamble if you've had too much to drink.
You shouldn't gamble if you're lonely or depressed.
And if you're under 21, you're not allowed to play.
No.
No matter which of our casinos you come to, our message is always the same.
Play responsibly.
Play responsibly.
Play responsibly. We know you're coming to our casinos to have a good time, and we always want you to leave feeling like you did.
And welcome back to Eye on Washington, our discussion of top transportation challenges facing Nevada's senior population and what needs to be done on the Hill and in the state to meet them. My guest today is Mr. Lee Gibson, the Executive Director of the Regional Transportation Commission of Washoe County. Well, when it comes to meeting the transportation challenges of our Nevada seniors, my guest has his work cut out for him. That's because senior transit needs are very unique. According to the Washington, D.C.-based National Center on Senior Transportation, even when transportation is readily available, seniors may not take advantage of the service for a variety of reasons. So what's needed, the center says, are these 5 so-called 5 A's of senior-friendly transportation. Availability, that's sufficient options and offered at a time when seniors need rides. Acceptability, regarding scheduling, wait times, cleanliness of vehicles, and driver sensitivity. Accessibility, services that are easy to use, offer supportive assistance, and go where seniors need and want to go. Adaptability, accommodating needs like multiple stops and additional support where needed. And affordability, and that's minimum charges and efficient modes. Now, so, Mr. Gibson, when you and other transportation leaders are, planning out those aging needs, et cetera, for transportation for the needs, how do these 5 A's fit into your planning?
I think those 5 A's actually really cross-cut over many of our programs at the RTC. And they also are criteria that we like to use when we are not just necessarily providing public transportation services, but also looking at roads. So when we, for example, are planning a new, one of the things we want to do is laid out in our regional transportation plan is a dial-a-ride program. We would like to look at developing a demonstration dial-a-ride program to help seniors move about our community. The key challenge we're going to have to face, however, is the affordability question and also the accessibility question in terms of geography.
If I may, dial-a-ride is as easy as it sounds. They dial up when they need a ride. How does that work?
It pretty much just like that. They call a number. For example, we sponsor a taxi bucks program that allows a partnership with the taxi companies that allows us to help them offset the cost of the trip. It's as simple as picking up the phone, calling, and then using the taxi bucks. We want to expand those types of opportunities so we can get to the affordability, accessibility criteria in those 5 A's, because that's the key to us being able to bring the seniors and the disabled into our community and let them participate in the economy through either work or through recreation.
So let's look at some of these transportation options targeted to Nevada seniors. You mentioned Washoe Senior Ride, Southern Nevada has Silver Star, rural Nevada has Silver Rider. You've mentioned the dial-a-rides and things you want to expand. There are a lot of ways you're meeting senior public transportation needs now, but as we've discussed, with this growing aging population, you're already focused on 5 years, 10 years beyond, correct?
That's correct.
You've been on this program before, and when you've talked about other types of transportation planning in general, you've said it's really not about next month, it's about, the next decade.
That's correct. We have to maintain our long-range plan, which looks out over the next 20 years. That's where we're really seeing the dynamic of the changing age of the population hitting us. That's where we see the 12% of folks over 65 being a part of the population today to, I think, growing over 20% by 2030. So all of our plans, all of our programs are really focused on making sure we have the infrastructure and the services and the program options available that meet those 5 criteria that are going to be available for the future population of Washoe County. It takes a long time to buy vehicles. It takes a long time to do transportation for a variety of reasons, and we want to make sure that we're starting now so we can have services in the future. The federal government, though, also offers us opportunities to do things in the short term. We're right now, as I said before, we're partnering with Washoe County. We're trying to pool our resources and get some services on the ground this fall using volunteers, using new technologies, and really starting to make a difference in the affordability and the accessibility and the acceptability criteria laid out in the 5 A's.
Well, you've mentioned Congress, and Nevada does rank dead last in transportation funding, and I'm gonna follow up with that in our next segment. When we do return, why transportation is a particularly important issue for seniors in rural communities. And we're going to get more from my guests on the responsibility of our congressional delegation and others in the federal government in meeting those senior transportation challenges. And that's next.
Thanks to an ongoing commitment by America's mining companies, more than 2 million acres already have been reclaimed. To learn more about reclamation or other aspects of mining, visit nma.org, the National Mining Association.
Now you can contact one of Nevada's U.S. Senators or House members through Eye on Washington with Marilee Joyce. Just go to the mailbag page of joycecommunications.com. If we select your letter, Marilee will read it on the air.
We're not a miracle drug. We're not a technology. We're not doctors. Just the hope, which can often be the best cure of all. The Ronald McDonald House, a home away from home for seriously ill children and their families.
America's minerals have made us a nation of self-reliant dreamers, shaping our world and the endless ways we enjoy it. But red tape often forces us to import more than half the minerals we depend on. Minerals we already have. We don't import our dreams. Shouldn't that go for our minerals too? The National Mining Association. Learn more at nma.org.
Want more federal news that affects Nevada, its businesses, and its residents? Then you need to subscribe to Nevada's Washington Watch newsletter, your sole source of online news direct from Washington, D.C. Visit joycecommunications.com and subscribe today.
Every day, thousands of people in northern Nevada don't get enough to eat. 1 out of 5 children in northern Nevada go to bed hungry every night. But you can do something about it. Catholic Community Services of Northern Nevada has been providing help and creating hope in our community for more than 65 years. By donating food, time, or money, you can make a difference in a hungry person's life. When you make your generous donation to St. Vincent's Dining Room and St. Vincent's Food Pantry, you're helping to fight the scourge of hunger in northern Nevada. In these tough economic times, now more than ever, we need to help those less fortunate. To find out how you can donate to St. Vincent's Dining Room and St. Vincent's Food Pantry, call, click, or stop by. And together, we can end hunger in northern Nevada.
Welcome back to Eye on Washington, our discussion of top transportation needs of Nevada's seniors and what's being done to meet them. We've been visiting with Mr. Lee Gibson, the Executive Director of the Regional Transportation Commission of Washoe County. According to the group Transportation for America, Nevada is among 4 states that are projected to have the highest increase of seniors in the next 15 or so years. Between 2010, when the study began, and 2030, Nevada, Arizona, Texas, and Florida are expected to have a 101% to 158% increase over the number of seniors there now. The White House Conference on Aging gave seniors hundreds of options for priorities and said transportation is third most important to this group. Last fall, the Senate Special Committee on Aging held a senior transportation hearing that concluded shrinking federal and local budgets are harming the ability of seniors to get around, and that expanding seniors' access to transportation needs are a top congressional priority. So, you know, we hear Congress saying there's not enough funding for transportation for seniors, that expanding access for senior transportation needs is a top priority. What's the reality? Are you seeing enough federal focus on this?
Well, this, I think, needs to be characterized within the whole context of the federal policy towards transportation. Our highway trust fund today is broke. We're going to run out of money in August, and we're looking at the possibility of shutting down some major projects across the state of Nevada from major highway investments to transit investments, and that's a problem, and it needs to be fixed. I think at the same time, we need to recognize that transportation investments really are based on, first off, they're based on user fees, but more importantly, they generate a positive return for the economy. And I think what we need to begin recognizing is that keeping seniors and keeping disabled folks in the economy, where they're participating in the investment and consumer spending activities that drive, that are also important to driving our economy, has got to be a key component to federal policy. Federal transportation policy needs to recognize that it's not just about concrete and steel, but it's about people, it's about accessibility, it's about affordability, and it's about a return on that investment to the economy so that we can continue to grow our state, grow our urban areas, and continue to make those investments that are so critical for that type of activity.
Helping us to continue to emerge out of the Great Recession, et cetera, as well.
Exactly.
You know, the congressional focus in general, what do you specifically want our Nevada delegation to do regarding senior transportation in Nevada? And, you know, as we look forward to fall, are you working with any members of the Nevada delegation on any transportation projects?
Yes, we are. Congresswoman Dina Titus, who's on the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee and also on the Highway and Transit Subcommittee, is encouraging us to look at different programmatic options that she could carry forward through that reauthorization process, and that's something we'll be working on very closely with her.
Okay, thank you. And when we return, and you thought the RTC was only concerned with transportation, wait till you hear what else the Commission is giving our Nevada seniors. We're going to have details right after this.
All of us at Caesars Entertainment have something we want to say.
Play responsibly.
Play responsibly.
We don't want you to gamble if you've had too much to drink.
You shouldn't gamble if you're lonely or depressed.
And if you're under 21, you're not allowed to play.
No, no, no.
No matter which of our casinos you come to, our message is always the same.
Play responsibly.
Play responsibly.
Play responsibly. We know you're coming to our casinos to have a good time, and we always want you to leave feeling like you did.
Thanks to an ongoing commitment by America's mining companies, more than 2 million acres already have been reclaimed. To learn more about reclamation or other aspects of mining, visit nma.org, the National Mining Association.
You already watch Eye on Washington with Marilee Joyce, Nevada's only Washington, D.C. based statewide show. But for more federal news that matters to Nevada, you need to read our Nevada's Washington Watch newsletter. Visit joycecommunications.com and subscribe today. Now you can contact one of Nevada's U.S. Senators or House members through Eye on Washington with Marilee Joyce. Just go to the mailbag page of joycecommunications.com. If we select your letter, Marilee will read it on the air.
This girl is very pretty. It's inciting feelings of jealousy in me. We should pick on her.
I'm insecure about some things, so I think we should put some me stuff on here. Maybe even some lies, too.
Yeah. I just want to be accepted by you both, so I'm going to send this to my friends so they think I'm cool.
Kids bully for all kinds of reasons. None of them are good. Find ways to get involved at flipthescriptnow.org.
Welcome back to our closing segment of today's Eye on Washington on senior transportation. We've been visiting with Mr. Lee Gibson, the Executive Director of the Regional Transportation Commission of Washoe County. So let's end today's show on a fun note, learning about a very unique use for the RTC's new all-electric buses. This past spring, the Commission partnered with the cities of Reno and Sparks, Washoe County, and the Reno Aces for Stuff a Bus for Seniors. The event requested the community community's help to literally stuff a bus with essential supplies for senior citizens. Requested items included slippers, sweaters, jackets and pajamas, personal hygiene items, towels and washcloth, grocery and pharmacy gift cards, and of course, transit passes. Mr. Gibson, it was really a win-win for everyone, wasn't it? We got to stuff the bus for the seniors, a lot of needed stuff for them, 2-for-1 tickets to Aces game. What more do you want, right?
I couldn't have asked for a more successful event.
What led to it?
What led to it was one of our board members, Neoma Jardon from the city of Reno, asked us about this idea because Stuff a Bus was a concept used for another type of activity like this. So she came to us and said, could we do it? We thought it was a great way to introduce our electric bus. The electric buses are extremely efficient vehicles, are going to help us put money back to the bottom line, back into the program, and help us fund more services for seniors in the future. It was a great event. Folks brought all kinds of items to the Stuff a Bus.
So the bus was parked in front of the Aces ballpark for, was it 8 hours? And what was the community response? Just a big turnout? How was it?
Folks came and they brought their stuff. They toured the bus. They walked around. They sat in it. They got a sense of what that electric bus is all about. We got to educate the community about how that bus works and what it's going to do for us. It was just a great afternoon, a great morning. I was there 3 times during the day. And just the kids were really excited about it. That is what I thought was really cool.
And it was a great timing, too, because it was all part of Older Americans Month, too. So you timed that out perfectly as well.
That's exactly right. We wrapped up Older Americans Month with the Stuff a Bus, and we just had a great time. It was just a great time being out there.
You know, we're just about out of time. We've only got about 30 seconds left in this show. But, you know, and great show today. Thanks for being here. You know, I want to wrap up the program on a kind of a focus on the fall. As you look ahead to the fall, what are you most hoping for? Top transportation priorities in general, and for the seniors as we sort of look ahead to the end of this session?
Well, we want to see Congress fix the fiscal cliff with the Highway Trust Fund. We really need to keep our nation's transportation system moving forward. Those funds need to be put into the program so we can keep people working on the critical infrastructure projects throughout our state. I think the second look ahead for fall is going to be to continue to work to streamline the project development process and make that a key piece of reauthorization.
Okay. Thanks for being here again on all this. Look forward to seeing you soon.
It's great to be here.
That does wrap it up for this week's Eye on Washington. Be sure to join us next time as we discuss more important federal matters and their impact on you in Nevada. For news anytime on how federal issues affect you, you can visit our website, joycecommunications.com. While you're there, be sure to like us on Facebook, follow me on Twitter. I'm Marilee Joyce in Washington, D.C. Have a great day.